Sometimes your mind races faster than you can follow, jumping from one worry to another, replaying memories, and spinning scenarios endlessly. It feels as if thoughts have taken the wheel, leaving you powerless. This chaos isn't random. It's how the brain processes stress, emotions, and unresolved concerns. Understanding why your mind spirals can help you regain control and create space for clarity and calm. Today, we will talk about why your thoughts feel out of control. So before we start, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. 1. The illusion of control in thoughts. Many people feel as though their thoughts are uncontrollable, like a river flowing without direction. This sensation is partly an illusion. The brain constantly generates ideas, associations, and reactions, most of which occur subconsciously. Thoughts arise automatically from past experiences, beliefs, and emotional patterns. When these thoughts conflict with conscious goals or expectations, it feels as though control has been lost. The subconscious mind runs predictive models based on prior learning, creating a constant stream of internal commentary. While we cannot stop thoughts from arising, we can influence how we respond to them. Recognizing that uncontrollable thoughts are a natural byproduct of brain activity, rather than personal failure, is the first step toward regaining a sense of agency. By observing thoughts without judgment, individuals can reduce emotional reactivity and create space for intentional responses, turning a feeling of chaos into clarity. 2. The role of the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind generates the majority of our thoughts without conscious input. It draws on memories, learned behaviors, and internalized beliefs, often producing ideas that feel surprising or unwanted. Because these processes are automatic, they can appear chaotic or uncontrollable. Emotional triggers further amplify the intensity of thoughts, causing them to loop or spiral. This creates a perception that the mind is running independently of conscious intention. Understanding the subconscious as a generator of automatic thought helps reframe these experiences. The brain is not malfunctioning, it is simply operating as designed, processing information and predicting outcomes based on past patterns. Awareness and mindfulness allow individuals to observe these thoughts, decouple them from emotional responses, and choose which mental narratives to engage with, gradually restoring a sense of control. 3. The feedback loop of anxiety and rumination. Uncontrollable thoughts are often intensified by anxiety and rumination. Worry triggers the brain's threat detection system, heightening attention to potential problems. Once a thought arises, anxious minds can fixate on it, replaying scenarios and imagining worst-case outcomes. This feedback loop strengthens the perception that thoughts are uncontrollable, as each iteration reinforces emotional intensity and cognitive attention. Rumination also reinforces subconscious beliefs, making certain thoughts more likely to recur. Breaking this loop requires intentional observation, cognitive reframing, and grounding techniques that redirect attention away from spiraling narratives. By intervening in the thought cycle, individuals regain agency over their mental space and reduce the feeling of chaos. 4. Emotional hijacking and thought control. Strong emotions, particularly fear, anger, or guilt, can hijack cognitive processes, making thoughts feel uncontrollable. The amygdala activates in response to perceived threats, while the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for rational thought, struggles to regulate emotional responses. This imbalance produces rapid, intrusive, and repetitive thoughts that feel compelling and inevitable. Emotional intensity gives the illusion of logic and urgency, even when the content of the thought is exaggerated or irrational. Learning to regulate emotional responses through breathing, mindfulness, or self-soothing techniques reduces the amygdala's dominance, allowing the prefrontal cortex to regain influence and restore a sense of control over thought patterns. 5. Cognitive biases and automatic thinking. Cognitive biases make certain thoughts more persistent and harder to manage. Negativity bias causes the mind to prioritize potential problems over positive outcomes. Catastrophizing exaggerates perceived risks, while all or nothing thinking amplifies minor concerns into major threats. These automatic thought patterns contribute to the sensation that the mind is running independently. Because the brain interprets repetitive, high-intensity thoughts as important, they feel inevitable and uncontrollable. Awareness of these biases allows individuals to question the validity of intrusive thoughts, challenge distortions, and cultivate more balanced cognitive habits. 6. External triggers and environmental influences. Thoughts are often reactive to external stimuli. Stressful environments, social pressures, or excessive digital input can trigger streams of unbidden thoughts. Multitasking, notifications, and information overload create mental clutter, making it harder to filter relevant information from noise. The brain's predictive systems interpret stimuli as signals requiring attention, generating rapid chains of thought. This can feel overwhelming, giving the impression that the mind is out of control. Managing environmental triggers, setting boundaries, and reducing information overload help create a mental space where thoughts are more manageable and intentional responses are possible. 7. The role of sleep and cognitive fatigue. Lack of sleep and cognitive fatigue intensify the feeling of uncontrollable thoughts. Sleep deprivation impairs prefrontal cortex function, reducing the brain's ability to regulate attention, emotions, and thought processes. Cognitive fatigue makes it harder to focus and increases susceptibility to rumination. Under these conditions, intrusive or repetitive thoughts feel more frequent and uncontrollable, as self-regulation mechanisms are weakened. Prioritizing restorative sleep and strategic breaks enhances the brain's capacity to manage thought patterns, reducing the sensation of mental chaos. 8. Mindfulness as a tool for control. Mindfulness practices are effective in regaining control over thoughts. By observing thoughts without judgment, individuals learn to differentiate between automatic mental activity and conscious decision-making. Techniques such as focused breathing, body scans, and meditation encourage a non-reactive stance toward intrusive thoughts. Over time, mindfulness strengthens neural pathways associated with attention and self-regulation, enabling individuals to choose which thoughts to engage with. This process does not eliminate thoughts, but reduces their emotional impact and perceived uncontrollability, creating mental clarity and peace. 9. Cognitive reframing and thought management. Cognitive reframing helps restructure the interpretation of uncontrollable thoughts. Instead of perceiving them as threats or failures, individuals learn to view thoughts as temporary mental events that do not define reality. Journaling, thought-stopping techniques, and reality testing allow evaluation of thought validity, breaking the automatic feedback loop. By consciously challenging distorted thinking, individuals regain agency over their internal dialogue, reducing the feeling of being swept away by uncontrollable mental activity. 10. Harnessing thoughts for growth. Although thoughts often feel out of control, they can be harnessed as tools for self-awareness and growth. Recognizing patterns, triggers, and cognitive tendencies allows individuals to understand emotional and behavioral responses. By combining mindfulness, cognitive restructuring, and environmental management, thoughts can become allies rather than adversaries. The sensation of losing control transforms into intentional engagement with the mind's natural activity, allowing insight, creativity, and emotional intelligence to flourish. Regaining mastery over thought processes fosters resilience, clarity, and purposeful action in both personal and professional life. If you liked this video and would like to see more like it, please give it the thumbs up, leave a comment, and click the button to subscribe.